Coming up on the U.S. Army All-American Bowl Selection Tour Highlight Show presented by Adidas, the week starting October 24th was packed with talent from coast to coast. Let's hit the road. The Southeast was bustling with excitement this week as we begin with the event for American Heritage running back Sony Michel in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Dude has been nationally known since he was in middle school. All he did was run for 1,800 yards as an 8th grader on the varsity squad and went on to crush it at Football University's Elite Football Showcase, Top Gun. He'll suit up in the Army Bowl to cap off a ridiculous youth and high school career before heading to Georgia, where he verbally committed in April. Treon Harris is another off-the-charts talent from the #1 ranked high school in the country, Booker T. Washington in Miami. He's a dual-threat quarterback who's a top 20 ranked athlete, as he'll play defensive back in the game. He was responsible for 50 touchdowns a year ago, 35 via airstrikes, and 15 with his quicks on the ground. Verbal commit to Jimbo and the Knolls of Florida State. Chris Lamons, Plantation High School, another Sunshine State superstar. This defensive back is known for his speed and explosiveness, verbally committed to bringing his talents to the Swamp next year with the Florida Gators. Kari Clark is a dream crusher on the defensive line. 6'2", 325 pounds, ruining your day on every snap at the D-tackle position. 60 tackles, 9 sacks, even an interception last year. This Hollywood, Florida product will leave quite the legacy at Chaminade Madonna Prep, as he also has verbally committed to the Gators. Our final Southeast and Florida product is Richard Yeargin III, a prototypical 3-4 defensive end / linebacker prospect. 6'4", 225, the University School product from Fort Lauderdale is verbally committed to the Fighting Irish at Notre Dame. On to the Southwest region, Jordan Sims from Birmingham, Alabama and Homewood High School. How'd you like to have this guy on your offensive line? 6'4", 345, dude could play one side of the line by himself. Lit it up at Football University camp in 2012. Auburn, Ole Miss, Alabama, and Florida are all duking it out for his NFL-sized frame next fall. Markel Pack staked his claim as a top wideout prospect at Top Gun this summer, with his 6'2", 180-pound frame shredding defenses with a sub-4.5 40-yard dash time. One of the quickest releases off the ball you'll see from a high school athlete. A top 5 player from the state of Mississippi, the pride of Purvis High School, is verbally committed to Florida State. The West region certainly got in on the action as well. Kyle Allen is the #1 quarterback prospect in the United States. A recruiter's dream, 6'2.5", 185 pounds. Dude slings it all over the yard on a weekly basis. Over the last 3 years, he put up 8,000 yards and 80 touchdowns. I can't even do that in a video game. The best player in Arizona, from Desert Mountain High School in Scottsdale, he's a verbal to Texas A&M, where he hopes the Aggies will be calling him Kyle Football for the next 4 years. His teammate Mark Andrews and favorite target downfield is impossible to cover at 6'6", 230 pounds. Whether he's a wideout or a tight end, he's going to score a touchdown when he makes the catch. The duo hooked up for nearly 1,600 yards and 22 scores a year ago. The Sooners at Oklahoma are circling the Sooner Schooners for his services, as he verbally committed in August. Jalen Brown from Mountain Point High School in Phoenix is a DB's nightmare as well. At 6'2", 187 pounds, and absurd ball skills, he's verbally committed to join the Quack Attack at Oregon next fall. Look toward the ball, and you'll see Brown's teammate, Natrell Curtis, lining up in the trenches. 6'3", 335, another masher on the O-line. He's a recent verbal commit to the Huskies of Washington. We'll round out this week's intense action with the Midwest and Northeast regions with 3 more stars you'll want to get to know. Matt Elam is the best player in Kentucky from John Hardin High School in Elizabethtown. This two-way lineman is 6'6", 350, and brings it every snap, regardless of who has the ball. Right now, Alabama and the hometown Wildcats of Kentucky are vying for his dominance. Drew Barker is a top 10 quarterback prospect who's elected to stay home, as he did verbally commit to Kentucky in May. 6'4", 210, doesn't get much better from a pro-style frame. He threw for 2,000 yards and ran for another 1,400 last year. He's been a beast at Connor High School in Hebron. The final piece to this week's puzzle is Jalen Holmes from Lake Taylor High School in Norfolk, Virginia. 6'5", 225, coming off the edge like a maniac. He's a top 10 DN prospect and top 5 player in Virginia. He's verbally committed to Ohio State. The families of our foursome from Arizona, Kyle Allen, Mark Andrews, Natrell Curtis, and Jalen Brown, received the Dream Protector Award courtesy of American Family Insurance for their roles in helping their sons achieve their All-American dreams. Now it's time for our newest segment, Extra Points, with our Army Bowl insider and social media mogul, Mike Ulatowski, with 3 things you need to know. What's going on, Mike?
What's up, Tyler? First fact of the week. Sony Michel is going to look to light up the Alamodome Field for the second time in just 4 years. He showed out at the 2010 East Bay Youth All-American Bowl, where he scored 4 touchdowns and basically single-handedly won the game for the East squad. Now let's talk about the guys in the trenches. Matt Elam from John Hardin High School in Kentucky stands 6'6", weighs 350 pounds. In terms of both height and weight, he's one of the largest men to ever play in the U.S. Army All-American Bowl. Only offensive lineman Herman Johnson of the 2007 BCS National Champion LSU Tigers was larger at 6'8", 370. And this year's foursome from Arizona marks the first time that the Grand Canyon State has produced more than 2 U.S. Army All-Americans, fitting that it's one of the more talented classes in the history of Arizona high school football. Now it's time for the tweet of the week. This week's goes to East offensive lineman Jordan Sims, at SimsJ78, who tweeted, "Proud to be a part of the hashtag Army Bowl. Blessed to have such an amazing opportunity. Hashtag Army Strong." Those are this week's extra points. Let's kick it back to T.O.
Thanks, Mike. Always crushing it on social media. Be sure to check him out every single day on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Huge thanks to all of our terrific sponsors, especially our principal sponsors, the U.S. Army and American Family Insurance. And don't miss next week as we continue on our nationwide tour of the best high school football talent. Thanks for checking out the U.S. Army All-American Bowl Selection Tour Highlight Show presented by Adidas. Until then, I'm your host, Tyler Olson.